Yeah. 1, 2. I'm stuck in neutral, waiting for dreams to come true. I guess I'd rather be stuck than to make some dumb moves. But then again, even dumb moves is some moves, and no one wants a boring life. I have to live with decisions and making choices like which shoes I'ma grab. And as you look at the tag, you decide that you want more from life, only cause your ass can't ignore the price. And the media send the image like if you get it, you living. So niggas kill for these dollars like it's a business decision. The shit niggas envision became different when we was kids and would grow up to be a lawyer, someone that made a difference. That was elementary, my dear Watson. We grew up, school ain't gon' put money in these pockets. We screwed up, cause now education is the option to go up, while trapping and rapping niggas here plotting to blow up. But nigga, you ain't 2 Chainz, nigga, you ain't 2 Things, nigga, you ain't Bruce Wayne. Saying you put the work in and ain't even met the faculty yet. So fuck the profit.
This is the No Offense But the podcast. Here, my co-host, Mr. J. Brown. We got a special guest in the house tonight. Very talented man, very intelligent. Our new mayor. I'm glad that you can say that. That sent chills up my spine.
I'm enjoying the journey, man. We're almost 3 weeks, almost the first month in. It's been great. We're learning a lot, you know what I mean? But I think the most important thing is, getting out and being in front of the people and talking to the people is what I would love the most.
Hey, and you've been doing it. From the moment I seen you at the polls, you out there being active. Yeah, my man is this is it.
Yeah,
this is it.
That's what it is.
We finally got what the city needs.
Well, I appreciate it, man.
There's no skepticism. There's a lot of weariness, but they it's like you said, we're 27 days into it.
Yeah, you just getting started, man.
I'm excited because it's new. You're young, right? That's something I'm tired of all these old people running everything. I'm older myself, right? But I mean, you have to have progress. And a lot of times, older people they don't catch on.
A lot of people don't realize this city is built on the good old boys, right? The good old boy system.
Man, and it's one of those things that like
12, you can't start a train till you have it.
Every city has it, so it's not going away. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be there. It's just how do we come together? How do we bring all these people together from different aspects of Maryland to do what's best for the city? I mean, it's hard to argue that we need to do something for our kids. Our kids need to be in a better situation. We need to do something about cleaning up the streets. We need to do something about making our city look more presentable. So those are things that are hard to argue. Now, some people argue what order they come in. Like one of the things that's interesting that in this first month, people want to see all the roads get paved. For a couple things, you don't pave roads in the middle of the winter time. No. So at first, I would get super frustrated when people keep saying that, but then I realized that the people just don't know the process, right? So I got to do a better job of what previously may not have done is communicating how things work. It's like, I can't just go out and as a mayor say, pay this road, that road, that road.
That's all it takes money.
Yeah. And then that, first and foremost, second of all, there's a system that we operate in. It's a grading system. So each street has a grade, right? So when some of them get to whatever the low grade is, F, then we hit that one. So your street might be bad, but somebody else's street is an F. You know what I mean? So you might be hovering in like a DC, and somebody else has an F. So you have to go and hit the streets based on that information. You know what I mean? And people just think that because it's never been communicated, right? People think as a mayor, you just go out, do this one, that one, this one, and there's no system. So as a mayor, I got to come in and make sure I'm communicating how all those things work, man. And I think the more I communicate that'll send a clear message of what's going on within City Hall.
Right. So I kind of sent out a message to like my personal people, like, hey, I got the mayor coming in. What would you like me to ask on the show? And literally, I only hit like 3 or 4 people because I wanted to pop up, be a surprise that we got 3 or 4 people. But I hit them like, what do you want me to ask? So this is the most asked thing.
Yeah.
Where do alleys fall within the paving regimen?
So NDOT, which is Indiana Department of Transportation, did not consider alleys a part of their system, right? So anytime we want to do alleys, it's on our own. Right? So you got to just try to figure it out. So the last time that we were really aggressive towards alleys, from my understanding, was when Ron Maury was a mayor like 30-some years ago.
Right.
He went through and paved them. So that caused some issues. Like, if you pave over top of alleys that people actually use, the drainage gets too high and it starts going into people's houses. So so we got to figure out how to do it. So it's either we got a couple options. We can either go through and strip them all down and repave them. And I recently learned alleys are more expensive than the streets.
Right.
So to do a mile of streets, you're looking at $200,000. To do a mile of alleys, you're looking at $300,000. Right. So that's what the actual strip down and repaving. Or they have those, you see them using the county, like the gravel solutions. Right. They put the gravel down and then some kind of wet, I don't know the technical term, some kind of wet mixture over top of it.
What they call that chip and seal.
And then eventually it packs itself down. So I'm trying to decide between one of those two things. And do we go through and strip the alleys back down and pay $300,000 per mile, or do we go and do that chip and seal idea to still get like a smooth alley? So alleys are something I care about, man. It's just we got to navigate how we do it.
I think me personally, I feel like either chip and seal would be a great option because they're at least traveled roads. Even then, you can go through and fill the potholes with rocks, and the majority of us will be happy. Like literally, I got a guy that lived behind me, an old dude, and he moved. He's a mover and a shaker. And every year after the snow and everything's going away, he goes out in the alley and he puts like dirt and to fill the potholes. Because like literally right behind his house is the problem. Like you talking about, you got chuck holes.
Oh man,
this big.
And I see them. You know what I mean?
And me, I'm in a big old Dodge Ram. I'm like,
right through.
There are a lot of alleys that are only used for like garbage. The only thing going up and down those alleys a lot of times is trash truck.
And those are heavy. So that's a lot of
right. So that may be something to consider too. Alleys that are like just for trash or whatever. Maybe you might want to pave those. I mean, because that's going to save wear and tear on the vehicle.
And literally with that, it's going to be a lose-lose situation because you're going to have people that say, well, why are we focusing on alleys when you got this street? And then why are we focusing on this street when we got this street? And this the worst street in the world. And it's like, man.
So, I mean, again, that's another thing about this job, man, is no matter what you do, somebody's going to be mad. So you can't cater to everybody. But to that point, I do believe the alleys are a necessity to hit. We just got to figure out how we're going to do it. And then, again, releasing the process of how we decide what streets are paved. It's also important for people because I think that the public just thinks that you're just choosing random streets to hit. You know what I mean? So if we release the data that says, this is the grade of your street, that's why you keep getting skipped for the last 20 years because somebody else's street is
and people ain't understanding it because there's no transparency.
People don't. They don't have it explained yet, right?
And I've known that for years. I used to work for NDOT. Okay, so I've known that for years.
Yes, that's cool. Yeah, so another process then.
Right. So it's like there's got to be transparency. It's like people with the presidential election. They're like, oh, there's no way this many people voted. And what people don't realize is not the public opinion; it's the electoral opinion. So it kind of works in the same way in local areas. It's like your opinion of something is totally different because you don't have the whole fact.
Yeah, you don't got the whole fact, man. That's why I like coming on shows like this to let people know. So all your listeners after this will know like there's a process. There's a process to do. I mean, the process, like another thing that people bring up is tearing down the houses. It's a process, man.
Like, and I feel like you're going to have a whole year of nothing but transparency. There's things you're going to have to hit head on that people... The previous mayors have never shed light on. They don't tell us about the grading pattern. They don't tell us nothing about how the houses get torn down and how that pretty much comes out of the city's pocket every time they tear down a house.
You're going to pave Nebraska Street before you pave Wigger Street.
It's a major travel road.
Exactly. You got to take that into consideration.
That was a breath of fresh air when Nebraska got it.
That was a great idea. And it's one of those things that, like, another thing that people didn't understand is like we have a budget, and in the budget there's line items in the budget. So if you see, like right now we're going out replacing a lot of the street signs. That's not the same line item budget that the paving the streets. You know what I mean? So it's not like people will say, "Oh man, why you wasting money on that? You should be paving the streets." It's two totally different budget lines.
And what's crazy is all these people are taxpayers. They don't understand itemized. That is itemized.
It's itemized, man. So if you like the same budget that we tear down houses with is not the same budget that you see police cars being bought with. You know, it's two different.
Right.
Obviously, it's the same.
There's different
Police officer salaries and
it's a different thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So like while police officer salaries is different from the police officer vehicles.
Exactly.
You know, so it's different, which is different from the city hall utility bill, which is different from the splash house. It's different line items, right? And that's the things that people need to understand is, you know, when you see money getting spent, obviously it is all taxpayer dollars, but how it's specifically allocated as different line items within the budget. And I can't take money out of the police this year and be like, hey man, I'm gonna pay some work. It doesn't work. Right. You know, I guess you could do it if you want to, but then you would be in some serious situations.
So you got a heavy background in this city. One of the most major things that your family is known for is the carpet business.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I gotta ask you, did you ever put in work with the carpet business?
Oh man, I started learning floor covering when I was like 4. Man. I got a picture. I have to send it to you. I got a picture running a jackhammer tearing up the cement. Not cement, but ceramic tile.
Okay.
So yeah, man, I got cut. I got my hands cut in that industry. So I mean, I still know how to do it.
Right.
So I mean, if I ever had to go back and do some floor covering, that's always something in my bag. But it's hard on your knees, man.
Yeah. It's hard on your knees. That's the wholesome side of you, because like I know the family, so it's like, bro, yeah, they're one of the most wholesome families I've ever
I appreciate
had. What's the word I'm looking for? One of the most wholesome families I've ever had the chance to meet. Be involved with.
Yeah.
Great, because Michael Kinsey.
Yeah, that's my cousin.
That's my cousin.
Okay.
So, you know, we go way back. They used to come do my mom's cribs and everything. So it's like, I always thought that was an interesting thing, like that little industry right there.
Yeah, man.
And like, y'all cornered it in the city.
It's one of those things, man, that it teaches you hard work, man. I think that I'm super thankful for my family putting that in me really early, because I mean that's one of the like physically hardest work you can do. Right? You know what I mean?
See, I pride myself because we in that age group to where we are the last of a dying breed. We're the last of the actual hands-on workers. In between, where before CDs and after iPod. So we grew up on cassette tapes and CDs. You know, these kids are growing up on MP3 players.
And that's the thing. So like that's why it's one of my big initiatives is to get kids involved in trades, man.
Right.
Because there's so much. I mean, one, there's so much money to be made. In that trade industry too. That's a job that's not being taught. That's not being filled. Everybody's being pushed to college, which is cool. I mean, college is good for what it's for. But you know, there's trades. There's money out here, man. And Marion has such a lack of tradespeople right now.
Yes.
Like, even when I talk to the electrician union, they're saying, man, they need people like so desperately. They're like coming off the street, we'll train you. And here you are. You get in there 3-4 years later, 3 to 5 years later, you're making $150,000 plus dollars.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's just a missing, and that's just electric. And then you think about all the other trades.
We had Tucker when I was in school.
Yeah, man.
You know, we don't have that's a good bad
We have a form of it, but
Yeah,
it's
so
not
we
the
have
same
at
thing.
Miller High School they have a Grant County Regional Career Center, but it's only for high school students.
Right.
Yeah.
So like after you get out of high school, there's no means right now. Which I mean, they are exploring those options, and I'm looking forward to partnering with them to see how we can keep improving that. But yeah, we gotta develop in the trades. Man.
See, I'm an automotive worker. I've been at Chrysler 10 years.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm a team leader, and when the machines go down, I got to get a hold of trades.
Yeah.
And it be some days we don't have a supervisor, we don't have an electrician, and that shows you point blank that there's a problem here. Not enough people is looking into this.
Right.
And our union, the UAW, they emphasize that because it's getting to a point where a traditional college degree is too expensive.
Yeah.
You're going to end up in hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
But you can go get this trade and have it paid off in a year.
Yeah, man. So,
And you're going to make more money and have a job right off the bat than somebody coming fresh out of college.
yep.
They got to do internships and all this crazy stuff.
And you gotta make them loan payments.
Right. I'm still paying.
Yeah, I get it, man. And so,
I got a whole master's in music production and business.
okay.
It's like I can't do nothing with it around here.
Right.
But do this. This is my hobby.
Yeah, man. That's great, man.
I'm a worker by day.
Yeah.
My hobby is by night.
Yeah, so we got to, man, and that's what I mean. That's what I really campaign on, man. How do we get people involved in the trades, man? I mean, this next generation, this thing, right? I think about it like, we're a big sports city.
Yeah.
So we have like feeder system for like basketball, soccer, football. What if we had that same type of feeder system for trades? Like you start teaching kids how to use a screwdriver when they're like 5 and 6. You know what I mean? Or teaching them how to do different things that are obviously age appropriate and safe, but at least they're ready to.
And see, that's the sad part about Tucker, because Tucker was that.
Yeah.
And it instilled a lot of that. Because I did the whole Tucker routine. I did auto mechanics and welding.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
And so like. When I left school, that ain't what I wanted to do, but it was just something to do, and I gained a lot of knowledge from it. So if I was to go into that type of business, hey, I've got experience here. So it's like I ain't no one-trick pony. I've got experience everywhere.
Right.
But it really just boils down to what can we do to bring people here and let them be fruitful.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. What can we do for this generation coming up?
Right.
Because there ain't a lot to do. There ain't a lot to do for those children.
Man, it's like I tell everyone, it's like you gotta think of a 10-year play. So like we're essentially in the city of Marion, we're in a tree planting phase right now. Like everybody thinks she's gonna come in and plant a tree and it's gonna be 20 feet high. And right now we're in that grind though. We gotta go out here and plant these trees so your kids and grandkids will be able to see what Marion looks like in 2034. So that's what we have to do, man. And I think everyone in Marion needs to understand that's the turnaround. It's not coming in and just flip everything around like it's gonna be better for you tomorrow or next year or in 4 years, right? But how do we set a plan and set a pace that, and when your kid becomes 18, 20, whatever it is, that man looks like a whole different city, right?
Right.
So now how many, then, but see the problem, I don't know if it's a problem, but it's just, we're so used to having or wanting like this microwave society, right? They think it's like something will go in and it's going to be done in 30 seconds. Right. But so how do we come out and say, we got to develop a clear plan that Marion looks like a whole new city in 10 years.
I mean, we're a legendary county. We're known for everything. The ball glass jar, the Marion Giants basketball, Marion Giants sports, RCA, which was the biggest disappointment this city has ever experienced with RCA. Because you literally watch people go from not worrying about making ends meet to all of a sudden we're closing, we're moving to Mexico. Y'all got to figure something out.
And so what's interesting, so when that closed, just showing my age a little bit, when that closed, I was a kid, man. I was probably like 8, 9, or something like that when that closed. So I don't remember really, man, hustling and bustling across the street. I don't remember this whole area. I don't remember that. So my whole life of remembrance has always been abandoned.
Right.
So now for me coming to leadership is how do I begin to get people excited again and encouraged about something new? Because what's interesting is when you talk to people, they always go back to the same thing. Like, oh man, Marion used to be like we used to have RCA and what's it, Foster Forest and Dana and Bellflower. They list all these things we used to have.
Industrial.
Yeah. So like we get so focused on what was. We don't look to the future of what can be, right? So now, how do we change the mindset? We obviously we acknowledge the past where we come from, right? There was times where it seemed to be great, but then how do we now create a new future for everyone else instead of always being stuck in this sadness? You know what I mean? Because I mean, if I'm doing my math correctly, man, that was 20 years ago when all this shit. Yeah. That's a long time, man. Yeah.
The one thing Marion's got going for it is location.
Location.
Halfway between Indy and Fort Wayne, you got Detroit, Cincinnati, Chicago, all that stuff within just a few hours drive.
We're in a perfect location that really nowhere else in the state of Indiana is.
Right.
I mean, so we just have to learn how to figure out how to capitalize off of that.
Right.
And again, man, it's one of those things that. So another thing that I learned at being mayor, that nothing is quick. Nothing is quick, man. Like even stuff I want to do internally, like if I want to spend like money, it's minimum 6 weeks because you gotta come up with your plan, go to the city council and get it approved. Get the first round approved. That's 2 weeks. Then you go get the second round approved. That's 4 weeks. Then you get the third round approved. That's 6 weeks. So So in this first month, I can't do that. I'm 6 weeks away from doing anything. So it's always, and that's just everybody's rowing the boat the same direction.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. There's any disagreement, then it gets put off.
Then it gets put back even longer, man.
Right.
And that's another part of the process that I don't think people know.
No, they don't.
They don't know, man.
See,
Yeah.
what I noticed is a lot of people don't know the inner workings of this city.
And that's our fault, man. I mean,
Exactly.
I'm just starting, but that's just our. I'm saying
There was
from
no
our fault
transparent for the last 20 years. There's been no transparent.
People don't know what's going on.
Our last most transparent mayor was Ron Mowry. In my opinion, it may have been someone before him, well, I can't say after. I'm not going to down none of those guys. I'm gonna leave that to that, but it's not been no transparency. There's a lot of people that don't know how the inner workings work.
We just gotta bring the transparency into modern times.
And we're a transparent generation.
Yeah, man, they want to see, man. So
we want to explain. We want you to understand.
So that's why one of the first things. Okay, so prior to January 1st, if somebody wanted to see how the city spent any of their money, you had to physically come in the city hall and literally open up a box and go through all the individual paper bills. Now we made it accessible where citizens can see a version of all the bills being paid online.
Right.
Like, so it's like previously it wasn't not transparent, but who was going to actually come to city hall and like flip through all the bills?
Right.
Right. So now you can just like click on your we're setting it up to where you can just click on go to our website, clicking on your phone and show an overview of all the things that the city pays. So that's a big difference, man. Like, and again, it's not. The truth is, other people were transparent. They just weren't modern transparent.
Right.
You know? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
I mean, what you're doing makes sense in a way that it's never made sense before, and I think a lot of people are scared of that.
oh yeah, I get it.
They are. Thank you. Don't mind me. I'm indulgent.
Do your thing.
A lot of people are terrified of that. You want anything? Water?
No, but you need some more water.
But a lot of people are scared of that. They don't know what that's going to bring.
Yeah.
So they're like, we don't know how to feel. We got this young guy in here.
Yeah,
and
man.
I was telling a bunch of coworkers last night. I was like, yeah, I'm doing a show with the mayor on Sunday, and they're like, oh yeah. I'm like, I know him. We go way back. And they're like, I'm like, he's younger than me. They're like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wouldn't want nobody back. Just seeing what you did with the boys club.
Thank man. Yeah.
Breath of fresh air, because that was on track to becoming what used to be Clark Street.
Yeah, man.
It really was.
Yep.
And the glory day, I remember Mitch from back in the day.
Man, that's what was when I was a kid too.
That was my boy. So it's like watching it, and I hadn't actually been to the boys club in years.
Really?
It's been
Okay.
years. I haven't been since they opened that.
Since the new one.
I've been there a few times.
Okay.
Dropped the kids off.
Yeah.
Check things out. Holler at people. Miss Nikki and everybody.
Yeah.
And I actually hadn't been to the boys club to hang out since Fresh was running the boys club.
Oh yeah, that's been a minute, man.
So it's like seeing what you do from the background, outside. It's lovely. It's a breath of fresh air. And then you brought the scooters here, and everybody's enjoying the scooters.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just one of those things, man. I appreciate all that, by the way, man. And it's anytime. To your very first point, anytime there's change, man, people get nervous, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's change for the better, like I mean, and what's crazy is, everybody wants change. You ask them, oh yeah, we want change, we want this to be better, do this, but then when change comes down their street, then it's like, don't change, don't change that. Wait a minute. I was talking about something else.
They be setting their ways.
Yeah.
They so used to something being this way,
Yeah,
and
man.
then you actually do it. They're like, hold on, you're moving too fast.
Yeah. No, you moving too fast, right?
But that's too. You mentioned the city council earlier. Mayor can only do so much. City council has to prove stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like the president can only do so much. He has to have Congress.
And it's set up like that on purpose, right?
Exactly.
Which is good.
Right, it's checks and balances.
But people just don't know.
The problem is, in my opinion, and it will always be my opinion, is the city council we got are too busy shaking hands with each other.
Right.
Instead of actually worrying about, we don't want this to come here. We're going to like the mud yard. When they was doing the mud yard out here by the on the other side of college, they threw a fit and they were like, "Oh, the neighborhood's complaining." It's like one person complaining. I went to every single one of them meetings because I supported them like heavily. And mind you, them people did everything they could. The biggest problem, there's mud everywhere. Well, they built a car wash. And then people was like, "Oh, they're loud," so they turned the stage the other way. And it's like they did everything to comply, but it was just these same people on the city council that was, oh, they're the problem.
So thankfully, right now, man, and obviously it's too early, but thankfully right now I got a city council that's willing to work with us, and a majority of us campaigned together during the last year. So I mean, I'm very encouraged and hoping that I'm very encouraged and believing that we're going to be able to work together and do some great things. But again, like you said, man, just statutorily, the city council and the mayor have to work together. Otherwise, it's just going to be a gridlock. Right? It's just going to be a gridlock.
I think they're finally waking up and seeing that the change is here.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
The change is here. We have decided that we're going to put this unorthodox person in office. Because it's very unorthodox to have a young black mayor.
Man, I know.
And a lot of people hate that.
Yeah,
that's too pressing.
And that's something I won't even touch on because that's not even what we're about.
I mean,
I don't want to get too. I will go down the wormhole with that. But a lot of people don't like it because of that, and it's like, will you get out of the 50s and 60s, please?
I mean, again, I'm super thankful for all of our citizens, man, who voted me in. Cause, I mean, it wouldn't be possible without them. But that doesn't mean everybody wanted me to win.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, and that's something I'm very well aware of. And so you have to, just have to protect yourself and watch out. I mean, cause it comes with a lot of extra scrutiny. It comes with your name in the paper more than any other mayor before. So it's one of those things
this
you got to pay
election, the younger crowd showed out.
Yeah, man.
They showed out. I think that's where the majority of votes come from. I'm heavy on voting. I'm not a super political person, and we don't even do the political stuff with this. This is getting to know the guest. We don't have guests. This is us having fun. But I'm not super political. But it's like, this is different. It's exciting. It's fresh. It's new. And it's like, I'm so staunchly high on vote. If you want to make change, you better fucking vote.
Man, you got to vote, and that's like step one, man. After you vote, you got to get involved. Man.
You got to get involved,
especially at the local level.
Yeah, man. Because the local level, man. I heard somebody else say this, and I agree that your local government affects you way more than any other government.
Yes,
you deal with.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It starts at the local level.
Way more than the state and federal. So you should get involved locally, man, as much as you can. So one of the things that I find interesting is everybody has an opinion, which is cool. You know what I mean? Like I'm super open and transparent. I welcome opinions. I welcome all of that. It's like now, okay, if you say, not you, but it's people. If you say you want to do something, like how do we come together and make this happen? Because I think what people think the mayor is like this, like all powerful position. You know,
right?
That you got people behind you. Yeah, that you can make stuff to pop out of this thin air. You
gotta ask before you can do it.
That way.
Yeah, man.
They said you got the city council too.
Everything's gotta be approved.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that I always keep drilling, man. Every time I talk, it's like, how do we get out here to understand the process of how things work? Because again, somebody asked me, can I legalize marijuana? I'm like, I try not to. My initial reaction was to laugh at them, but they were serious.
They were serious.
They thought it was in my capability to be like, Marion is a city where you can just smoke weed legally now.
Right.
But people just don't know. You know what I mean? So then they say, somebody asked me, can I get their cousin off of probation? So it's things that are funny, but it's not funny to people who don't know.
Right.
They think it's legitimate that I could go get somebody out of jail off probation, legalize, do all these. Somebody asked me, can I get this public school more funding? Right. That's not me. That's not the mayor, right? So we just got to explain the process, man.
Transparency.
Yeah, man.
Transparency.
Yeah, I mean, like for example, the mayor doesn't make the laws.
No. Yes.
That's city council, for example. I think
that's the legislative body, man.
Right.
The mayor is a think tank.
Right.
That's what the mayor, a think tank. So I think we need to do this. Can we do that?
How do we do it? So basically, as a mayor, if I was to like summarize the job in like simple forms, I would say you're a visionary, connector and a cheerleader. So I mean, you gotta have a vision for the city, and then you gotta get people to help you pull it off. Then you gotta connect the right people to make things work, the right businesses, the right citizens, etc. And then you gotta cheer people on, like, hey, we're showing up. What do you need? How can we help? But as far as the mayor, like doing things by itself, it's like statutorily set up to not be possible.
Right.
So
to get back to the legalization thing, what is your stance on that? How do you feel about that? In your opinion,
as a businessman, so coming from the business side and as a Republican and as a capitalist, it makes the most sense. It makes the most sense to do it because there's so much money to be made to help us on the taxes. And it will bring an exorbitant amount of money to our state. Now, there's other things that maybe I'm not considering or thinking about. I'm just thinking about it from a businessman and capitalist side of it. So, I mean, I think from a how do you govern it, how do you monitor it, that's all other things. I think that's why we keep getting stuck in never pushing it through. But from my side, like from a business side, it makes sense to me.
It does. And then I've always said that from a business side, it makes sense because we watched what Colorado did, California, and now Illinois,
all
and
the states
Michigan,
surrounded.
and now we got Ohio, and then Kentucky's doing the medical thing. So we're landlocked.
I don't know why. So maybe it's something that I'm missing.
I mean,
so that's why I try not to take it too.
And I mean, we're a big pharmaceutical state too, so that's another reason right there.
Now,
which I get that, but when they've been studying it for 10, 15 years, it's like, what more do you need to study?
On a local level, they can decriminalize, right?
So that's no.
That has to be at the state level.
So so a lot of people bring up like what happened in Indianapolis. So the prosecutor in Indianapolis decided that he wasn't going to prosecute below a certain amount. I think it was like an ounce, right? So if you get you still get arrested, you know what I mean? But he ain't going to jail you for less than an ounce. So it's still technically criminalized. It's just he wasn't going to put you in jail for something having something more than an ounce.
The consequences aren't as harsh.
Well, I mean, like you get caught with under a certain amount, you get a ticket.
Yeah, well,
you know what I'm saying?
I think that's how the process works there. I'm not sure, but in Marion or Grant County, you have to interview our prosecutor, which I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine he's going to do that, right?
Right.
Indianapolis is the only city in the state or county in the state that really has done that. We're not prosecuting below a certain amount.
Right.
But as far as from a policing standpoint, as long as it's the law,
it's the law.
Yeah, it's the law. I can't make my police not. Enforce the law.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a lot of the cops out here where it's real minuscule. They already stomp it out, throw it out.
Well,
that's not enough for me to do paperwork. Yeah, it's a judgment call.
They have the freedom.
Now, if you got a whole trunk full of Chiba, I mean,
it's a little different.
That's different. That is different. That's totally different.
But yeah, that's a good conversation, man. Again, it's hard for me to take a stance either way because I don't know what I don't know. But what makes sense to me from a business standpoint, it makes sense. I also know the other side.
Right. Yeah, I had to ask that one. A lot of our viewers are partakers.
Yeah, I get it. Man.
So it's like that's definitely a question that was out there.
See, I'm not a partaker, but I'm a supporter. You know, I think marijuana should be legal for the state. It has a lot of medical benefits for one.
So now, to inform the process, the people who can make that happen are your state legislators. So your state senators and your state representatives. Those are the ones who can push that bill forward and get it legalized.
And I know they're going to look at it.
They wrote a lot of bills on it, but they just never really make it.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I know they're visiting that issue.
They're not refining it well enough to meet the standards that everybody is looking for. And that's the biggest problem. But I mean, as a state, I don't think we're ready for that. I think the people are, but as our state system, they're not ready for that. They're still trying to figure it out.
That could be what it is,
and that's what took Colorado and California so long. We want it, but we got to figure it out. Where's the taxes? Like, how much are we going to tax? That's like Michigan is like 15% sales tax. And you got Illinois that's 26%. And you got California that's 21%.
I mean, one thing that just came to my mind now as we're talking about this, I never thought about how do you police it? Like, can you get a ticket for driving while high? Or what's the balance? You can't breathalyze somebody.
Right.
So that's kind of like alcohol, though.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can't drive drunk.
Right.
You can drink legally.
Yeah.
But you can't drive drunk.
Right.
Like same thing. You can smoke legally, but you can't smoke and drive.
But then how do you prove somebody is Exactly.
How do you prove
There's
you're
not a
impaired?
solidified system.
Because you can breathalyze somebody,
Right,
right?
you can take them for a blood draw, right?
But that's a process.
Yeah, that's a lengthy process.
Exactly.
And that they do the little pin thing. That's the closest you're gonna get. The dilation of the pupils. That's good.
So-
That's not even guaranteed because someone can have a pupil disorder.
Yeah. So I mean, I never thought about it like that before, but I'm sure there's a lot of things that the state legislator have to work to. But me, I can't do nothing about it.
See, that's one of the benefits too, because we do have all these other states that have it legalized, and they have models. They you could use that as a model to help
but
get that process
each
going.
state don't work the same.
No, but I mean, you could pick. I mean, the state legislators, the people that make the laws, they could, see what's going on in Colorado, what's going on in California and Ohio, and they can kind of figure it out. Take a little bit from here, a little bit from there, and put something together that they like.
Back to the business aspect. What do you know about what they're doing with RCA?
So the company is called Re-Element. I've seen looking at their flag. Essentially, what they do is recycle lithium-ion batteries. So I wasn't a part of I wasn't married yet when the deal went into play, but they took all of RCA, and a section of it is going to be for battery recycling. And I think they're going to try to attract other companies to fill out. That's a big building, man. I went there for the first time a couple months ago. It's big in there, and from what I understand, a portion of it got burned down and torn down. It's even bigger than that, but it's still big.
Right.
But they're going to do sections at a time, and I'm hoping they have the best success, man. I think the last update I heard, they're starting to move their first employees in for that first company, and then they're going to try to attract more and more companies to fill out the entire building.
Because I know that ain't their only product. I think they got something in Lafayette.
Yeah, they got other.
I think they're looking into building in Kokomo and. So I mean, it's legit. A lot of people was just worried, like, is this going to pan out? Or
Marion has a unhealthy level of skepticism. Everybody should have some kind of skepticism about things, but Marion's skepticism is like over the chart. Yes, everybody's skeptical about everything.
This city is full of skepticism and rumors. Like the biggest rumor is Indiana Wesleyan block Budweiser. Budweiser never wanted to come.
They never was coming. But what happens? So I'm glad you brought that up. So what happens is when the leaders don't communicate what actually happened, people just make up rumors. Yeah, and then it becomes true. You can talk to people still to this day, and they will swear by Indiana Wesleyan stopping Budweiser. Right. They think it's facts. You know what I mean? But it never happened, man. So.
Like a lot of people don't realize that Indiana Wesleyan don't come across 38th Street.
Well, that's another conversation. You know what I mean?
Right. They don't really shine this way. They got that side. Let them prosper on that side. They always doing something over there.
So another thing that people don't realize about Indiana Wesleyan is so obviously they don't pay taxes on the stuff that's on campus, right? That's obvious. But they have an entity within themselves that when they purchase like houses and stuff around the city, they do actually pay taxes. Right. But people don't know that, so they just think everything Indiana Wesleyan does is tax-free.
So I think when they bought a University Plaza, used to be Big R and all that.
Yeah, all that out
south, off 50th Street. They bought all that, and that's off campus. So I know they paying taxes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what properties they pay taxes on, they don't. But
they don't pay it on that specific area.
Talking about the old Marsh building?
No.
That would be a part of campus.
Yeah, that's campus
at the 937 split.
Where the BP station is on 50. Yeah, they got that, and then they got the campus across the way.
Yeah. So, I mean, they get a lot of bad rap. Some of it is deserved, but most of it isn't. But I'm thankful that that they're here.
Right.
If they weren't here, that'd be a big hole.
It'd be a big
hole.
The amount of employees that they have.
Man. If them and General Motors was to ever uproot,
it hurt us,
man. It would be in trouble.
So, again,
you got GM invested. They building on to that out there.
Yeah. So I'm not saying none of these organizations have done no wrong.
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is what the benefit they've given us has outweighed any of the indiscretions.
Right. I've never had a problem with them.
Yeah.
I'm like, if y'all, I live right there at 38, so I'm like, if y'all offer to buy my house, come on with it. Please, take me out of that room.
me an offer I can't refuse.
Yes. Oh man, yeah. So
Wait about 9 more years.
yeah.
That's when it'll be paid off.
You into football? Are you into football?
I'm into football at this time of the year.
Yeah.
When it's time of the year Who's playing today? The Detroit versus
Detroit 49ers and Baltimore,
Ravens, Kansas City.
So for the Detroit situation, man, they've been bad for so long. I just want to see them come out the slump. You know what I mean?
I'm a 49ers fan. But listen, this is how it works out.
Yeah.
Either one win, I'm riding with either one.
Okay.
Because I'm like, Detroit ain't even had a shot.
Yeah, they've been in the slump, man, for what, 25 years?
Yeah, longer than that.
I
don't
was a Niners
think
fan back
they've
in
had a
Montana
championship as a franchise. I think they had a championship
before it became like before the merger.
Yeah,
it was like back in the 50s.
Yeah, so they've been down.
Yeah,
They've been down for
they
a long
don't have
time.
an actual Super Bowl.
Yeah, they're from the other side.
Everybody
Never
else
even
do
made it
though.
to a Super Bowl.
No.
Never even played in the Super
So
Bowl.
then from the other side, man, it's Kansas City versus the Ravens.
Yep.
Man, that's two brothers as quarterbacks. I would like to see the Chiefs. I think if the Chiefs win this time, that solidifies them as a dynasty. That's
Right.
cool. But Baltimore hasn't had a chance in a little bit either.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's
So if I was to ideally pick who I want to see into the Super Bowl, it'd be. Man, and you got a 49ers shirt on too. It'll probably be Chiefs versus Detroit. That'd be
that sounds legit. I'm selfish. I want another Ravens 49ers mix up.
Okay.
I need revenge. I need revenge. The Superdome, they cut the lights out on us. I need revenge. I'm selfish.
Yeah.
I want to beat up on Lamar Jackson.
So yeah, I never been like a every week dedicated football fan. But as I've gotten older, somehow this is how I got a 4-year-old daughter who watched football with her grandpa, which is my wife's dad, and so she started liking it. And I'm like, okay, I'll get into it. You know what I mean? But I always just been a basketball guy.
Right.
But since then, I'm like, okay, I'll watch it now. You know,
Right. So, like I told you when we were messaging, this is on the fly. We don't have set questions. We don't do politics. None of that.
Yeah.
This is legit. Getting to know the real side. Getting down to business.
Yeah.
You talked city with us. You got into the sports a little bit. How do you deal with home life now that you are married?
Man, so this idea that like there's like this balance is not true, man. There's always going to be something that's suffering, right? So even before I became married, so when I was running the Boys and Girls Club, running the business, and then obviously having a wife and kids, it's like it's always this kind of you're trying to balance it, man. But everybody I talk to has never figured it out. Like nobody ever says like, oh, this is how you do this, you know. So it's a constant like. Obviously, my priority falls to my wife and kids. That's the most important thing to me. And then the citizens in the city after that. But then what happens is in these jobs, some days I'm the best father, husband in the world. Other times I'm not. And sometimes I'm the best man. Other times, so it's always this kind of like give and take and trying to figure out where the line is. So if you ever figure it out, let me know, man.
It's tug of war.
Yeah, man.
Definitely tug of war. I'm Monday through Saturday. I'm at the place.
Yeah, man. So it's
Sundays is like my free day. Like this is my second home. This place right here. Like
When everybody else is at home, he's at work.
yeah. So like Andy and Stephanie who own the bar, good friends, love to death. I tell you, I say, Mayor's coming. Like, oh my God, what time? Like they asked me 30 times between now and like 2 days ago. What time? I'm like, don't worry, we're gonna be there at 1. We're good. So like it's great like to have this place back because it was shut down for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then to have them come in.
When we were ready.
Oh yeah, we're at the Neon Moon.
The Neon Moon, baby.
Neon
So
Moon.
before I leave, shout them out. Before I leave, I'm gonna give me some food. My first time eating here, so I'm gonna give them a review on my page.
Hey, and I guarantee everything on the menu is a hit.
Okay,
It's like a no skip CD.
It's like that. Okay, that's what I like to hear, man. The one thing about me, I like to eat.
My favorite, the loaded fries.
Yeah.
That's where it's at.
That's our go-to most of the time.
That's
The
it.
loaded fries. The mushroom Swiss burger.
That's it too.
Amazing.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
anything on this menu is absolutely
And then your personal
amazing.
favorite, the lemon pepper
The
chicken.
lemon pepper
Oh, they
chicken.
got that
bowl.
too?
Yes.
Oh, man.
And it ain't your traditional lemon pepper. It's very zesty. Oh,
Okay.
man.
Coleslaw, shout out on Morgan.
Spicy coleslaw.
So everything. Okay.
Everything.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna give you something before we take off.
Like I feel like they got the best bar food in town. I don't think nobody can compete. I don't think nobody can compete. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
When you come here, I mean, it's a good atmosphere, family type vibe. You might hear us at the bar, tink tink. You know, that's all of us slapping shot glasses together, throwing them back. So it's definitely a good time. It's a good atmosphere. I'm glad that they took over. I don't talk the last owner, but just saying I didn't have a good experience.
Okay. Yeah.
But
We know her on the logo.
yeah, we know her on a personal.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want that yet.
And I'm glad they took over. I've known them for a while. I actually used to live over here on Felton.
Okay.
Next street over.
Yeah.
And then my neighbors across the street, they actually help with the bar. They're good friends with them.
Okay.
That's how I met them. So
Yeah.
it's a good home feeling type of place.
That's cool. Man.
It's
That's
very
cool.
enjoyment. They don't go for no BS. Ain't nobody in here fighting.
That's even better, man. Cause I can't be no way.
You at the point where it was just everything.
Yeah. I can't be no way.
When I first approach you, I'm like, I can't do it at the house. You gotta come somewhere neutral ground.
Yeah.
So the bar, why not? But it's a good place to do it. It's a good place to do it. We'll do it at the bar.
Hey, I'm drinking water, by the way. Just in case you wasn't.
Hydration. But yeah, man, it's really mind blowing to see somebody I came up with.
Well, I mean, me and him, elementary school.
Yeah.
Alligator shoes.
Oh, that's so crazy.
Listen, speaking of shoes, my man is a shoe connoisseur.
Oh man, yeah. Since I was a kid, man.
I told my wife, I said, I'm wearing my best stuff out today because I'm not gonna let bro show me up.
I feel some old Danny reinforcement, man.
I threw on my red bottoms. I said, bro,
See, that's why y'all gotta be ready, man. You never know, man.
I will say you one of the people that coming up like, bro, always had the coldest shoe game. Man,
Hey, man, it's one of those
cold. It's so many dudes in Marion name that's got a cold collection. I'm like, man, bro got the shoes.
And that's one of the things. One of the things when I decided I was going to run for mayor, I was going to be consistent who I've always been. Like, 'cause normally, people get in these positions and they change up. They in this specific situation, they change up and start wearing dress shoes. I mean, I got dress shoes. I put them on sometimes, but I mean, I put on a suit, but always I'm being my tennis shoes. That's who I am. You know what I mean?
I seen somebody comment. It was a picture you posted, and somebody shared it. And somebody commented on it and was like, he's wearing shoes with a suit. I'm like, what era are you living in?
This been me, man.
Watch NFL pregame.
It's like,
If I'm gonna be somewhere, I want to be comfortable. I don't
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear a suit and some sneakers.
Yeah, man.
It's nice to have a pair of Stacey Adams.
I got some.
I know you got. I got some. About 1,000.
I got someone there, but it's like,
We went on a field trip to the orchestra. Bro was dressed to the nine. He had the gators and everything. Like bro out here telling the truth.
yeah, man. So, that's funny, man. No, shoes are always, I mean, it's for the culture, man. Shoes are a big part of it.
Yes.
Man, you know, so, I mean, to not go down this trail, but you go to like the Michael Jordan versus LeBron debate.
Oh,
I'm a big LeBron fan, but the shoes, the impact that Jordan was able to have on culture with it, man, it's just, bro.
Yeah. When you got people committing crimes for your shoes.
Killing people,
Literally. I grew up a little bit in Chicago.
So I mean, like,
Come up out of them, or you just gonna die today. So,
you don't need them,
you don't need them.
But yeah, man. So shoes are been a big part of me, man.
And I've been an avid Jordan wearer my whole life. Like I got an $8,000 collection. So it's like I got shoe every shoe. I just went and bought 2 pairs. What?
Everybody.
Hey, I'll tell you what, they come try it.
But man, it's a big part of who I always been, man. Since I was a kid, man. It's like kids today, people today will never get to experience that Saturday morning Jordan feel again because they changed the rules. Right? I remember. Now here we are going to history, but man used to have a finish line. I remember standing in line outside, just waiting for them to open the door, and you know, Foot Locker used to be in the back. Yeah, and Foot Locker was in front. So you go to finish line first. They didn't have them, and everybody just be sprinting to the back. Oh, that's one of those core memories, man, that you can never change.
I remember
now everything's on the app. You know what I'm saying?
I remember when them Columbia 11s came out.
2011. I didn't get them either.
I was about to fight everybody in the mall if I didn't get that spot.
True story, man. I missed those shoes. So I went to Lafayette Square Mall first and that. Right. Stood in line. The line. I don't know if you've been in Lafayette, but from the entrance all the way to the end of the parking lot. Couldn't get in there. So the Kokomo, they was gone. Came back to Marion. And that's when Finish Line moved to the like behind Planet Fitness. You know what I mean? So standing in that line, man. All the way to the last. Everybody got a pair of shoes for the last 2 people, and I was one of the last 2. I never got them, man.
I was there at 6 o'clock in the morning.
You got them?
I was the first person there. And then like 8 o'clock, I see more people because the mall didn't open till like 10.
Yep.
I'm seeing more people pop up.
That's one of those.
People like, how long you been standing here? I'm like, since 6.
Yep. That's one of those experiences that people. I think it was. I mean, probably was getting too dangerous, man. People. That's why I did it to the app.
Yeah. The raffles and stuff. I be so mad. That sneakers that makes me so mad. I got one.
You want one today?
I got one.
There's something there.
I'm good. I got one. I got the Tuxedo 14s.
Okay, you hit those.
I hit those. Man, I can't get the Chinese New Year.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it, but
I remember sitting in a lot of concert tickets.
Really?
But now, thanks to technology,
Ticketmaster is all on the thing. Yeah, man.
You don't
I
have that
remember
stuff
when you used to have to go to what was the place called? It was on Western Avenue. Wasn't Taco Bell?
Wasn't it? No, Karma.
Yep. That's throwback right there. You went to Karma Records and got tickets then. I mean, we went there for. This tell you how old I am.
My concert tickets are March.
We went to get concert tickets at Karma for a concert that was at Madison Square or Market Square Arena.
They're talking, Rob.
What's up? We have a special guest.
What's up doing?
We have a special guest on the show. What's
No, dude, I work with you. And me and this real fat right here took so much shit. You got left in the work done it. I going you got me and you get a picture and have her send it.
Let's do it. Yeah. I'll be right back.
Yes.
Being friends for 50 years, nearly hired you. Jay Walters put me and her dad.
Oh man, we gonna edit this out. We good.
That's my guy, man. We here for lunch every other day, man. Yeah, he worked for the city. So.
Okay.
My sister worked for the city.
Okay, what's your sister?
Ebony Davis.
Okay.
She worked at the water
Last
company.
night.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. They was trying to get me to come out. I'm like, I'm at work.
Can't come out. Her birthday Wednesday.
He got off early.
Yeah, and I didn't come in here. I sat at home.
And then one more thing about the city before we wrap it up. So the water company. So the water company and the city is 2 separate things. Two separate entities. And so like people think because it's called Marine Utilities, they think that I don't control Marine Utilities. They got their own setup. Right? You know what I mean? Own setup.
They have been for years.
Yeah, because I mean, city. I can remember the city.
We pay people to take our trash away.
Yes, a whole separate ball game, man. People don't know that, right?
Right.
Yep.
A lot of people don't even know there's a whole reservoir back there.
Yeah. So I mean, but it's again coming full circle.
Now, what I ask of you is in your journey.
Yeah.
I want you to encourage people to explore the city.
Yeah, man. Okay. Yeah.
Learn it.
Yeah.
That way you get a better picture. Like exploration is key.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. They just come here and they sit in the same area, and it's like exploring so much to see. There really is, and I've been here 20 plus years, so it's like there's always something new to me. Like there's new sides of towns I never been. And a lot of people don't. They just sit in one area and contemplate on that one area, and it's like. Get out and see. It's like we have some of the most famous homes.
Yeah, man.
Like the architect.
Hostess house, Samuel Plato.
Samuel Plato.
Yeah, man.
Amazing. The house out by the park. The octagon type house. I can't remember his name, but he designs skyscrapers in New York. It's like
we got a lot of talent that's gonna come through here. Man. I mean, we get notified for. We're notified about
basketball, James
but
Dean.
We got all kind of people there. We got awesome,
Jim Davis.
We got awesome artists, doctors, lawyers, like people who come out of men who are like top level talent.
Oh yeah. And a lot of people like Zebo came from there.
You know what I mean? And that's true.
I love it.
And how much more can we add, man? Like, I think it's big. We gotta do a better job telling our story.
Right. We got a lot of legends: Jay Edwards, James Blackman, James Blackman Jr.
Yeah.
Now we got Zach's daughter McKinley doing her thing.
Yeah, I seen that.
I was proud of that. I know that. She's a baby. She's a hard body. Hard body. Nothing scared me more than when Kobe's helicopter went down. Because the first thought I had was, man, I hope Mac wasn't on that plane. That's the first, because they was tight. They was real tight. And
that's crazy. I think that's the 4th anniversary was like a few days ago.
And it's crazy. Because growing up with Zach was a constant in and out of my home.
Okay.
My stepmom was like a vital piece of him growing up. So like, I've been all over Portland with him, and I've been in them circles with him.
Okay.
And it's just amazing looking back on all the elbows I rubbed, Jerry Stackhouse to Kwame Brown, my man Starberry, Stefan Marbury,
he was here.
So he pulled me out of the line. He seen me. I was like maybe 5. I wasn't even going for the shoes. I just wanted him to sign the poster. And he seen me. He was like, come here. He's like, you Zebo cousin.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you remember me.
That's what's up, man.
So you ain't get those shoes? I said, no, I just want you to sign this real quick.
I was there that day getting stuff signed. We had Stephen Berry. I never get that.
Jalen Rose because of Zebo.
That's crazy, man.
Reggie Miller, Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, man. So
I ran so many circles with all these people. So it's like Marion is legendary in its own right.
Yeah, man. So
a lot of people, like, we went out west for our honeymoon. He was like, her brother lives out there, and he's like, oh, they're from Indiana. And I'm like, oh, from Indiana? Where from Indiana? And we're like, Marion. Where's that? I'm like, or no, we'll say Indiana. Where is Indiana? I'm like, Colts and Corn.
That's where we go get, man.
Colts Nation. And they're like, well, where's man? I'm like, we're right in between Fort Wayne and Indianapolis. Like, I game a lot. I do a lot of game streams. And people will be like, where you from? Indiana.
It was like a photo.
Where at Indiana? I say Marion. They're like, Marion County?
Yeah, they thinking that. Yeah. So, man, I appreciate you for having me on, man. I have to make a cycle back sometime.
Great. That's why I told everybody I encountered. I said, this is not no political thing. This is getting to know the guy that we put in the seat, to know the history, the background, what his thoughts on random things are. This is a very random podcast. There's no set schedule or have a good time, talk, laugh.
Yeah, man.
Get it in. That's what we do.
Yep. So I appreciate it, man.
We want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah, man.
We wish you the best in your endeavor. The No Offense But podcast stands behind you all. I'm not even a Republican. I went Republican.
Hey, welcome to the dark side.
We don't have no libertarians over here. I'm right down in the middle. But I'm like, man, that's the homie. I gotta support. Period. Definitely. As soon as I heard you run, I was like, yep. Come put a sign in my yard.
Yeah, appreciate y'all, man. Thanks again. Make sure y'all check out Neon Moon and check out No Offense Podcast.
Definitely. You want to put any socials out there?
Oh, you can follow me on Facebook at Mayor Ronald Morrell Jr. That's where all my information is coming from. So you hit me up on there. I mean, I got a website and all that kind of stuff, but the most frequent updates are coming to that Facebook page.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Appreciate y'all, man.
For sure, definitely. Well, it's been a good one. I've enjoyed the spine team with me. Yeah, I was waiting for it. Like, I hated that I had to cancel the first time around. Like, things I lost my pops and stuff last month, so things didn't really pan out. I had to take a little break from doing everything, get my editing back on track.
Yeah,
definitely, it's been a pleasure. Definitely been a pleasure. I'm glad we got somebody worth having in that seat right now.
Yeah.
Before we go, I do gotta ask you. You want water?
Can I get a menu too? We still live?
Yeah.
We still live. I'm about to make my first food order from me. Can I get a menu too?
Yeah, definitely. So I gotta ask.
It throws me off now.
What was the deciding factor to bring Gilbert back in as police chief?
So I brought together a committee because I didn't want to make any of these decisions by myself for multiple reasons, right? So I think it was 6 or 7 people that were a part of my deciding factor on who to hire. So a few people that retired. The chief of police retired, Angie Haley. Fire chief retired. City attorney retired. Those are 3 retirements, so I had to fill them no matter what. So I had interviews with people who were interested in becoming in those positions. So I interviewed them first, and I sent them to my committee, and then I let my committee. They interviewed them for about an hour and a half each. You know what I mean? And they went through and gave me a sheet. And when they got done, all of the votes were for Chief Gilbert. He was the number one from his experience and his tenure. And their advice to me, they wanted me surrounded by somebody who had the experience and the knowledge in that industry. And so I didn't have to worry about it. Thank you. So that's where it was, man. And I try to do 99% of my decisions like that based off of getting feedback from a committee of people.
Because I had a lot of people like, why go backwards? Go forward. And I'm like, well, if you look at it, the experience.
That's what helped. I mean, again, because I'm new, and I think all your success in anything you do is going to be who you surround yourself with. I could be the greatest man, the greatest idea, but if I'm not surrounded by good people, that's not going to help.
It makes it an easy transition as well, too.
And that was the same process for every selection, right? They all went through that interview process, and the committee recommended. I mean, obviously, I still make the final decision, but the committee recommended me who they think would be served the best.
Okay, that's dope. I never really knew. Each city works different when they appoint people.
So now you feel like I didn't have to consult nobody. I could have made anybody. I didn't want to get down like that.
You did it the proper way. Yeah. Did it the proper, most solid way. That way, even if the decision don't just lie with you. There was people that came in and helped make that decision. You're not making that decision by yourself because who knows, you'd make the wrong decision and the city's like, oh no, why? Right. You put Jim Carrey as the chief of police. It's crazy. So Alex Kenworthy, I call him Jim Carrey. That's my boy.
Yeah, man. So
I grew up with the Kenworthys.
Okay.
My dad was a janitor at the old YMCA.
Gotcha. Okay.
So Chuck, the old choir director, Mr. Kenworthy, him and my dad were like real close.
Gotcha.
So I grew up knowing Alex my whole life.
Man.
So me and my dad used to call him Jim Carrey. But that's interesting the way you put it. Like, I'm not gonna make this decision by myself. Let me put it in the hands of people that can possibly help me, and we can come to a happy meeting.
Yeah, man. I think that's the best way to go.
I mean, the way you figure. I mean, he ain't got much time left on the force anyways. I mean, he's got his 30 in, so it's like. at this point, it's
37,
like
I believe. I think he celebrated.
37.
Yeah.
He's been there a while. I grew up with his daughter.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
like
So,
they live down the street.
They gotta know how good they are.
I'm like,
yeah.
and so it's like, okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
But I honestly couldn't see nobody else. Like when you made the decision, I like went through and was like, got this cop, got this cop, got this cop. And I was racking my brain. I'm like, I'm in the same boat with a lot of people that came to me like, why go backwards? And I'm like, you know what? Now I think about it, it's experience. You can dwell on new people, but who's to say it's gonna work for you?
And the good thing about the chief, you know, he is good at training who the next person will be. You know what I mean, whenever his time does expire in that, he's good a leader. It's like he trained and the previous chief of police,
Angela.
and then so he's not.
And I loved her. I grew up around her.
So,
that was one of my favorite people too.
But
Chris Butchie as well. That's my boy
he's
too.
definitely chief.
Yeah.
So man, I appreciate you guys, man. Thanks for having me on. Anytime.
Check out that menu.
Yeah, I'm gonna check out the menu.
Bro, we still live.
Yeah.
Check out.
Yeah. All right, man. Y'all
haven't put you on the spot.
I know. That's right.
But hey, we're gonna go ahead and get up off of here.
Yeah, man.
We got a good hour in with the new mayor. Thank y'all for being with us today. This has been the No Offense But the podcast. I'm your host, Shaken Jake, with my co-host, Mr. J. Brown.
That's me.
And our special guest, the mayor, Ronald Morrell.
Yes, sir.
It's going down. Hey, check us out. Check him out. Hey, y'all have a good day. Oh, yeah. And we're at the Neon Moon.
We're at the Neon Moon.
Check him out. Neon Moon Bar and Grill. Check him out. Formerly the Good Time Charles. Go ahead and check him out. We're going to get up out of here. We enjoy y'all. We enjoy you being in this seat.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you
me,
for
man.
coming. Hey, peace.
Peace out.
1, 2, I'm stuck in neutral, waiting for dreams to come true. I guess I'd rather be stuck than to make some dumb moves. But then again, even dumb moves is some moves, and no one wants a boring life. I have to live with decisions and making choices like which shoes I'ma grab. And as you look at the tag, you decide that you want more from life, only cause your ass can't ignore the price. And the media send the image like if you get it, you living. So niggas kill for these dollars like it's a business decision. The shit niggas envision became different when we was kids and would grow up to be a lawyer, someone that made a difference. That was elementary, my dear Watson. We grew up, school ain't gon' put money in these pockets. We screwed up, cause now education is the option to go up, while trapping and rapping niggas here plotting to blow up. But nigga, you ain't 2 Chainz, nigga, you ain't 2 things, nigga, you ain't Bruce Wayne. Saying you put the work in and ain't even met the faculty yet. So fuck a profit, these niggas need a reality check. Found a couple flaws in my team, so I had to reset. And found some niggas with